Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today needs absolutely no introduction. Founder of Hoops Nation, founder of Card Nation, entrepreneur, absolute legend, Buster Scher. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Dude, Bitcoin all-time high. I thought it was perfect opportunity to get you in. To me, it feels like there is this disconnect between Gen Z or the millennials, younger guys, 18 to 22, and like this current financial institution that we're in. It's sort of they feel that they don't have ownership over like stuff, and that's where this whole decentralized movement is coming from, like to take ownership of your stuff. And I know you are heavy into what our older generation is calling alternative investments.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's changing the world as we speak. I think this all began. So there are two sides of it. It began on the financial front. The second, platforms like Robinhood were created, which sort of took the power away from traditional brokers and people who you had to go through at banks who younger people didn't have those sorts of relationships with.
I agree.
And also just general accessibility to financial literacy online, right?
Yeah.
YouTube videos that break things down, financial influencers. That was a term that didn't exist 2 years ago. And now some of the most popular influencers are people who talk about finance, are people who are tweeting about stocks and things of that nature.
Yeah,
and
man.
Platforms like Robinhood and Reddit groups expedited that. And then on the other side, collectibles have been getting hotter since 2010, year after year. So I think that was just a natural collab of those two things happening.
We joke about stuff like Pokemon cards and stuff, but I mean but it's becoming from a long time, right? Baseball cards, you got with Fleer, with way back in the day, Fleer and stuff like that, and now we've moved that into the digital age with like NFT collectibles. I mean, that is like sort of bringing that whole baseball card into the digital age.
Totally. I think we're still very early on, because one of the things that most people don't believe that NFTs have any tangible value, which is true, but it's also true for a sports card. So I don't understand the same, because the monetary difference in tangible value in a LeBron James 1-of-1 rookie card and a LeBron James Top Shot, the best one ever, is 1 penny. The difference is 1 penny. And that's because the cardboard that the LeBron card was made with costs 1 penny.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the argument. It's all about perceived value and collectible and desirability.
Dude, you get it. And I think that's the younger generation gets it and the older generation doesn't, is things have value because we believe it's got value. If tomorrow everyone wakes up and say, okay, Bitcoin doesn't have value, then it will cease to have value. But enough people, and as more and more people like start to believe, I guess, it has value, and this could be anything, like any collectible, right? It's going to keep that value.
Yeah, and I think value comes in a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah.
Value comes in terms of like, does it make you happy? If it makes everybody happy, that's a lot of value.
True.
Right? Let alone utility that could be attached to it, which is the case with a lot of NFTs. And then there's the collectability of it, or the investment of it, like a LeBron. You think he's going to be the greatest player of all time? Okay, maybe that's somebody.
Let's not go there. So you spoke about NFTs. You did something very interesting with your podcast, The Buster Show. You basically tokenized your podcast, right? And I haven't seen anyone done it. It absolutely blew my mind. What exactly is that about? What did you do and how does it work?
So we made one NFT per episode of the podcast going back 110 episodes.
Wow.
And what that comes with is access to a community where you get all of future episodes in advance. You get different airdrops and things of that nature. You get access to come watch episodes in person when we do them. And it comes with a lot of other utility. And I wanted to, experiment with it and go as, change it and adjust and adapt as we go, because, one day in NFTs is equivalent to like a year in not in NFTs or in traditional collectibles. So things move fast, and we're ready to adjust to benefit the holders.
So that utilization, through which platform does it go?
So the NFTs are on OpenSea, and then the utility taps in mostly via Discord.
Yeah, you see there.
But we have like Google Sheets of everybody's to be able to contact them outside of it.
Okay, cool. And you say like guest to the show. I mean, on your podcast, you did one with Goldberg, and I mean, I'm just don't want to name drop, but I mean, these are big entertainment and sports stars, right? So I mean, there's a big incentive actually for guys to go for it.
For sure, it's a lot of fun. I can't. I'm not a believer in like shilling my own stuff, but
I will do that for you for free.
I appreciate that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm excited for everybody to continue getting value from it.
Yeah, dude. Content creators, we are in the content economy, right? Content creator. But a big part of that is putting yourself out there. And I think that's a big thing that I'm getting from other creators is just this massive amount of hate, right? It's like a tsunami sometimes when you go online. Doesn't even matter where it is. That it seems sometimes if you create every day, I mean, I know you put out every day, you can't hide from it. So how do you deal with that negativity? And I'm not talking about like when someone's criticizing you and they're really being constructive, because that's awesome. But if that criticism is unwarranted and they're just like calling you like a punk ass bitch or something, I don't know. How do you like deal mentally with that every day?
I think there are two types of criticism. There's like ridiculous stuff like what you just said, and that happened, sure, but if you understand that it's more about them than it's about you, it doesn't affect you. And then there's everything else. Even if people are super mean online, it's all information, so there's something you can pull from that. Like there was a meme posted on Hoops Nation the other day, and a bunch of people started criticizing, even though I don't do any of the posting on Hoops Nation and haven't for 3 years.
I mean, it's your team. I know what you mean.
Right. That's information.
Yes.
To be able to, help me figure out how I can then relay that in a more constructive way back to the team or something else.
Yeah.
I believe most criticism is a good thing generally. I'd rather receive criticism than praise, because you're not going to get better with praise.
Yeah. That's a good mindset to have. Before I let you leave, some quick fire questions from social. Favorite brand of shoe?
That's a good question.
Be careful. Sponsorships.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about the best way to answer this. Custom shoes are my favorite.
Custom shoes. Love them.
Custom shoes.
Love it. What is your most valuable collector's item?
I believe the only Abraham Lincoln PSA 10 signed document in the world.
Wow. Estimated worth?
I wouldn't let it
priceless?
Go. Priceless. To me,
okay.
To me, priceless. To somebody else, hopefully 6 figures, but something
six
like
figures.
That.
Let's put a 6-figure amount. Sounds good. Sexy numbers. Finance needs to be sexy. It's fucking unsexy. And then last question, what's your next purchase? Like, do you have your eye on anything?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know socials are fucking just brought the question. Sorry.
My two goals, heading into last year were to get a Lincoln and George Washington. Yeah. And I got both of those. So now I definitely want something Jordan. I got something Babe Ruth recently. I'm buying goats essentially. So who in my eyes are goats in world history.
Okay.
Those are the people.
So not just sports.
Yeah, world business, everything.
Business, everything, right? Okay,
I
that's
mean,
interesting.
One of my dream pieces is something signed by Steve Jobs, right? And because he never signed anything, they're almost impossible to get. A signed magazine by him is $250,000.
Wow, that's interesting. Buster, thank you so much for joining us. If people want to get hold of you, and where can they do that? And like, what else are you busy with?
It might be a little hard to get a hold of me, so no promises. But I don't know. I don't even remember how we connected, but I'm so glad.
It's on LinkedIn. Connect with Buster on LinkedIn. That's the best place.
I love LinkedIn.
That's the best place.
I love the energy on this podcast. It's great. I'm sure it'll be even more successful. And
thank you so much.
Find me on LinkedIn. I guess this is
find him on LinkedIn, right? To our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.